young girls trying to venture into football but are scared because, I mean, it's a male-dominated space. What are some of the things you'd like to tell them?
You can't be scared because there's enough of us now to show you it can be done. I know that it's a very daunting space to be in. No one really knows where to start, but every journey will be different. I was a print journalist starting in rugby. Other people started in radio, other people, were entertainers first and then in sports. So everybody's journey is different, and I will repeat this. Your power is in your uniqueness. There is nobody who's like you. So exactly like Omatola said earlier on, you have to lean into that. And don't be afraid. If you're passionate about it, it'll show. And that's really all you can do. When I finished matric, I had no idea what I was going to study. I didn't know. And you don't have to have everything figured out right away. I don't think so. Is there that kind of pressure on young people to do that? To know you want to be a doctor and to go into that? No.
The Gen Z thing now, so I think it's
really? No, I don't think so. I think there's a saying that in your lifetime, you might have 7 different kinds of jobs or 7 different kinds of careers. So there is nothing permanent. You can go into something, discover that you don't like it and switch to something else. Hard work. Yes, maybe you need the privilege of having the funds or the time, but the only thing that's permanent, there's nothing that's permanent. The only thing that's permanent is death. Until then, you're still living. You can change. You can change your mind. You can follow a different career. It might mean that you have to do more work. Nana Ama, who's been my chaperone this week, she's working and studying. It's possible.
He gave a very clear background as to where we've come from all this while and where we are and where he, in his estimation, we're going to take the country to. When you are leader of a country, as he is, first of all, what you require is candor, is to be candid to the people, to tell the people the truth, to be transparent and to be accountable to the people. I think that first ingredient in the president's speech was absolutely encouraging, that he told the people as it is, that we inherited an economy and built it and had single-digit inflation, as he pointed out, at 7.5%, had one of the fastest economic growth, had a deficit of 5%, the first in 2 decades, and COVID and the Russia-Ukraine war got our economy out of gear. And secondly, and more importantly in my view, the president inspired a lot of hope. And there is a sense of clarity as to where he's taking this country to, and the gamut of measures his government is implementing to ensure that we pull this country out of the current difficulties we find ourselves in. For me as a Ghanaian, and I don't speak on this occasion as a minister, for me as a Ghanaian, that is what you require from your president. And finally, I think, also, is the point that the president made about the need for us to count our blessings. I think that is also absolutely important, because as we do know, and you can verify that, in some countries today, even common foodstuffs, you will not find them in supermarkets. In Nigeria, there are queues at the fuel station. In South Africa, there is massive power interruptions, doomsday in South Africa of all places. And in several countries, there is famine as a result of the global economic situation we find ourselves in. But mercifully in Ghana, through the stewardship of President Akufo-Addo and his government, and our collective efforts, we have not gotten ourselves in such precarious situation. And finally, and above all, I think also the call for unity, that clarion call for unity, where the president sought to rally the country behind his vision and behind the Ghana project. I think today is a great day to be Ghanaian. As the president quite rightly pointed out, we have difficulties. The government is not shaking responsibility. The government is not closing its eyes to those things. The government is facing the realities of our time, that there are difficulties the Ghanaian people are going through. There are challenges which are confronting our country. But by and large, we have a government that is on top of the machine, that has a grip of the situation, and in a not too distant future, the government will fix the situation and pull this country out of the doldrums and take us back to the era of economic growth and bring relief to the masses of our people. I am very encouraged by the president's speech.
letter to my 25-year-old self. And at the time, I just graduated from medical school, so here we go. All right. So, dear you, it's me. You've just graduated from med school, and it felt like such an anticlimax, I know. I remember. And you're wondering if you made a mistake by doing medicine in the first place. But look on the bright side. This is a path that engages all your faculties and helps you approach problems in a unique way. Dear Zana, don't do surgery. I was doing surgery at the time. Focus on complementary medicine. Trust your gut and do that course in naturopathic medicine because that is the future. You don't know it yet, but you're going to have a daughter in 2 years, and she is going to make you change your path entirely. Carry your bump with pride and don't be too hard on yourself. Remember, she's not a project. Take it easy on her. Oh, and make an effort to have a better social life. It's not all about the work and it's not all about the study. Travel more. And you know that mountain that you wanted to climb in Ireland? Climb it. Men. Okay. So, beware of a man who comes into your life and tells you stories about controlling with money, because that will be you on the other end of control. Rolling my eyes. In brackets. And please, listen to your mom when she gives you insights about men coming your way. She's not trying to keep you single. She knows what she's talking about. You don't know it yet, but you're going to have 2 more children, and they are going to change your perspective on what you thought you could and couldn't do. But they will give you a strength you didn't know you had, an endurance you didn't know was possible. But they will also make you think thoughts that you never thought possible when you used to judge those other mothers. Remember, it's okay not to be strong all the time. And it's all right to ask for help. You don't have to do it all on your own. And remember, you also have a lot of good friends who want to be there for you. Let them. Everything that you're learning is going to be useful someday. Trust the process, because it will make a difference to someone else someday. Finally, Daddy's not going to be alive forever, so make sure you spend more time with him, and make sure the kids spend even more time with him, because they are going to miss him. And last but not least, give your mom a break. She's tough, but she still loves you. And don't be too hard on her. In a few years from now, you're going to be moving back to Ghana. You don't know it yet, but it's going to be one of the most challenging times of your life. But don't give up. And don't spend too much time crying quietly. Step out, be brave, and enjoy the process, because it's going to be fun. Hopefully, you won't make that many mistakes now that I've sent you a few notes. But even if you do, it's okay. It's part of the process. Wear your scars with pride. Love. You're 25 plus 25. Not yet. All right. Your almost 45-year-old self.
Mommy, you first can see my cotoso. Pepoga, send me sick from Lemonade Finance. While Brian did the shit and let me £2.
Lemonade Finance.
Say they're sending money back home from UK, Canada, and now US. I accepted a instant charges. Exchange waiting in so ye. Unbeatable. We should make promo code Dr. Like Menya £10, $10, and $10 Canadian dollars for the first transaction. With this Sunday cigar coffee, download to Lemonade Finance.
a letter to my 25-year-old self. Well, you know I don't do things by the book. You know that I think out of the box, and I really try to do justice to whatever it is you ask me to come and do. So, first of all, which is very unusual for me, I'm going to read the text because I normally speak freely. So bear with me if I don't look up and try and keep your attention. Just listen to what I have to say. So, as I said, I'm not known to do things by the book. So when my dear friend Mary asked me to write a letter to my 25-year-old self, I wondered what I'd tell my 25-year-old self that would help to influence my destiny. So much so that my forever 29-year-old self now, note, forever 29, would be standing here telling you all that she made all the right choices and now has a wonderful, happy, fulfilled life. I wondered. A pretty tall order, ladies, and the few gentlemen that we've allowed into the room with us here today. Although loving the idea of this challenge, it was difficult, as I believe many of the speakers have already communicated to her. So, acting on instinct, like I said, I don't do things by the book, I felt it best to start, with your permission, with a note to my 13-year-old self. The 13-year-old self that lived through the most profound and formative year of my life, before then ending with some words to the 25-year-old Auma, if I may. So, it's a letter to myself. Dear little Auma, the year has just begun, and in a few days you'll be 13 years old. Once again, you turn 13 with the new year, in perfect time to move to the next stage of your life. Born on the 8th of January, forget about the year, I remember the thrill you always felt at being exactly the right age for each academic year. Perfect. You walked into every new school year with new books, new uniform, new shoes, new hairstyle, courtesy of your dear grandmother. She was the best cornrow braider in the world, as far as I'm concerned. And a new birthday looming. All new, squeaky clean, and fresh. The thrill of it all never waned. Even if after a few months, normalcy kicked in, and the news seemed to be just a repeat of the year before, only harder, with fewer excuses for not being able to be up to the mark. That year in particular, turning 13, moving from primary school to secondary school, you felt responsibility creeping in on you, telling you you were no longer a child, that you are now a young woman that had to give up her tomboyish ways, tree climbing, I love that, still have the scars, football, and other childish antiques, because now you had to sit right, move right, and take up womanly responsibilities. What you loved to do most, sports, and more than anything, playing with your friends, both in school and out, was now somewhat frowned upon. More often than not, you heard, girls can't, don't do this or that. Or because you're a girl, you have to do this, that, or the other. You were slow to mature. You could not see beyond school and play, did not have a clue about life, did not understand the restrictions and limitations that were being thrown in your way. So you rebelled. And rightly so, little Auma. You questioned why. And the question became, to the despair of your father, a fixture in your vocabulary. But only seldom did you get an answer that justified the expectations of you as a girl. The why very often invoked the response, because you are a girl, or because that is expected of you as a girl. In other words, no real explanation at all was given beyond the fact that you were a girl. So growing up, the only girl among brothers, same as you, each day was a challenge to prove that you were more than just a girl. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with being a girl. Bar the monthly menstrual period that came with excruciating pain that would incapacitate you for several days at a time, I believe you loved being a girl. However, you wanted to be more than that. You wanted to be appreciated, respected as a human being, a notion that at that time was hard for most to conceptualize. No doubt it was a struggle being the only girl in your household. Long story short, as you approached the age of 13, your world was turned upside down. The divorce of your parents shortly before was followed by a sense of abandonment that became your constant companion from then on. You retreated into your shell, introvert, shy, spoke very little to very few. Hard to believe when I think of the older you, who now has a powerful voice. They are one and the same. So take heart, dear little girl. Everything is going to be all right. Let me reassure you that everything is going to be all right. Do not hide away. Do not go into yourself, slowly but surely killing that bubbly extrovert, confident, cheeky go-getter that you are. Whether you believe it or not, you will be okay. The abandonment that you feel does not equate to not being loved, nor to not being worthy of love. How I wish I could have been there for you. Be your friend, your constant companion, giving you strength to overcome the pain that you are experiencing, show you that you are not alone. So much happened following that divorce. Entry into secondary school, almost fatal accident of your father, followed by the hunger years. Yes, the hunger years. His unemployment, no money for rent, no money for food, and practically homelessness. Thank God for boarding school. It saved your life. So much in such a short period of time. Terrifying. Terrifying to be 13 and feel totally, utterly helpless and alone. I applaud you for making it through that year. That year you learned a lesson in resilience, a lesson that will help you through the years to follow. You literally drowned your fears and pain in competitive sport, swimming, track and field, anything extracurricular. But most of all, you swam. You swam, a loner's sport, because that is what you became, a loner. I can't fault the sport and the extracurricular activities. That you did right. Even though you did not know it at that time, with all the activities you were involved in, you were developing your personality, building your character, learning your strengths, and most of all, learning not to give up, learning that you could count on you. I wish I had been there to tell you that you alone was not enough. To tell you that you did not have to do it all by yourself, that you could not heal the pain all alone, that you could not make it through life depending only on you. I would have told you that it was okay to ask for and to seek the help of others. Such a mistake to think you could go it alone. A mistake to feel you could not count on others, could not expect others to support you. The notion of unconditional love, unconditional sacrifice did not exist for you. Did I forget to mention that the divorce involved your father and your stepmother, with whom you had lived from the age of 4 after your mother and father separated? The same stepmother who told you she could not love you as her own when you were 10. The same stepmother that left only with your 2 younger brothers her own. The notion of unconditional love, unconditional sacrifice did not exist for you. She confirmed this when she left. She left you with a sense that love had to be earned, that one had to be grateful for the receipt of it, and that there was nothing unconditional about it. You were not yet 13 at that time. How I wish I could have been there to tell you that it is respect that has to be learned. That it is respect that has to be earned, not love. Love is given, is received unconditionally. But I was not there. You figured it out yourself and came to the conclusion that the best way to survive, to make it in life, was to never ever rely on anyone to care for you. That, so you concluded, was your job. 12 years later, now you are 25 years old. You have already achieved so much. Scholarship to study abroad, completed your bachelor and master's, tutorial fellow at the best university in your country, and about to embark on your doctorate. Focus, focus, focus. That you have got right for sure. You have friends, even a stable relationship. But deep down, you plan alone. You are a loner. We rely only on you, making sure you cover all bases so that if let down by others, you do not fall through the cracks. Your armor is watertight, and any disappointing encounters along the way solidify your resolve to rely just on you. Dear 25-year-old Auma, you have become a wonderful, strong woman. Do not deny yourself by not really letting anyone into your life. Do not mistrust love and constantly put it to the test. You cannot determine nor predict anyone's love or commitment to you. Just give of yourself so that you can receive in equal measure. Because I know that under that strength, that resilience, lies a deeply wounded soul that cannot believe, cannot trust that they can be loved unconditionally, even if it is just for a moment. Dearest Auma, dearest 25-year-old Auma, if there's one thing I would tell you now that I should have known then, it is that you must not listen to the voice of that wounded 13-year-old that you were, that twice abandoned child that did not believe that she was worthy of being loved. Look around you and see all the love that you are receiving. Do not feel that it is only because you are giving as a condition. Believe in it for itself. Embrace it. Nurture it. And do not question or doubt it. Do not be afraid of it. Do not ask yourself whether or not you deserve it. Do not worry about whether or not it will last. Enjoy it. Live it in the moment. Do not let fear of abandonment and your cynicism blind you to it. Do not drain yourself of love by giving to others and not retanking by letting others love you back. I know what I'm talking about because I've watched you through the years. I've watched you give so much love while refusing to truly allow yourself to receive the same. Dear young Auma, love does not need to be earned. It is given unconditionally. All you have to do is embrace it. Let yourself be loved. You do not need to first deserve it. This is the surest sign of loving yourself. You will continue to succeed, to achieve a lot, I'm sure of that, off of your own back, solo. You will be admired, and many will see you as a role model, first as an accomplished human being, and then as a woman. That you have achieved. But with all of that, dear Auma, please do not, in the process, forget to take care of you. Give 100% of you, and you will be okay. In order to help you navigate this complex world of ours, look to others to care for you, to help and to guide you, and trust that they will. Basically, dear Auma, give Auma, the caregiver, a break. But at the same time, choose your role models well, because to quote the late Desmond Tutu, none of us comes into the world fully formed. We would not know how to think or walk or speak or behave as human beings unless we learned it from other human beings. We need other human beings in order to be human. Remember that, dear 25-year-old Auma, always. Happy Superwoman's Day from your much-loved, very much older self, Auma.
Take your mind back to that lady who was offering a little advice for you not to take the left turn, but to take the right turn, but you thought that she was getting into your business. For that lady who told you that if your dress was slightly to your knee, but then you didn't have to expose that much skin, that you got so angry. What's your business? Are you my mother? That could have helped you. So as you sit there, I want you to cast your mind back to that person who found it a point to always be at your back to tell you that this turning will not favor you. But maybe if you are taking the next turning, it would have been better for you. There's this trend that is gaining popularity in recent times. They call it soft life. They call it what? Soft life. And I'm sure you know the soft life I'm talking about. People want to live comfortable lives without any effort. And the social media is helping to shape that perspective. Social media, even though is a useful tool you can use to leverage on, I cannot overemphasize the fact that social media lately has become a